Shalom. New Testament, Old Testament, Hebrew Bible. Well, in some ways they're the same, and in some ways they're very different. I mean, the books are the same. The Christians just organize them differently. Christians in their Old Testament don't have three different divisions like the Jews do. And they put the prophet Malachi at the very end, because Malachi says, "Behold, I will send Elijah the prophet to announce the Yom Adonai Gadol v'Norah, the great and awesome day of the Lord," which for them is a perfect segue into the New Testament. Now, for Malachi, for Jews, of course, he's the last prophet, and he's put at the end of the prophetic section. But the Hebrew Bible, which we call tanach, which is an acronym for the three names of the Hebrew books, the three sections of the Bible, Taf for Torah, Nun for Nevi'im, prophets, and Chaf for Ketuvim, the writings. That's how we divide it up. Because we don't believe there's a New Testament. We don't believe there's any testament after the Bible. It doesn't make sense to us. There'd be a New Testament and a Quran and all those other books. Other people want to worship their holy books and find religious meaning out of them. That's great. But for Jews, there's only the Tanach. So we have these three divisions. The Torah, which are the 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch, which are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And then the middle section, which is 21 books, the prophets, Joshua, Judges, Samuel 1 and 2, and Kings 1 and 2. And then you have the 15 literary prophets, starting with the 3 big ones by size, which are Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, and then the 12 little ones, Hosea, Amos, Nahum, Habakkuk, Obadiah, Joel, Zechariah, Malachi, etc. Okay, then you have the third section, the writings, and that contains all the rest of the books. You've got the 5 scrolls. You've got the book we read at Pesach, Song of Songs, the Shavuos, the Ruth. In the summer, Tisha B'Av, we have Lamentations. In the fall, we've got Ecclesiastes, Kohelet. And then in spring, again, we've got the Purim book of Esther. And then you've got Chronicles 1 and 2 at the very end, which tell the history and story. You've got Ezra and Nehemiah, which are the history of the Jews when they returned from the Babylonian expulsion and rebuilt the temple. Before that, you've got Psalms, 150 Psalms that are so much a part of the liturgy. You've got Proverbs. You've got the book of Job, which is a great book about theodicy, why bad things happen to good people. All these terrific books in the section of writings. But again, the main difference is the Christians don't have the divisions. They organize the books a little differently. They have this obviously theological reason of their own for putting Malachi at the very end of the Hebrew Bible. And the main difference is Jews don't call it the Old Testament because we don't have an Old Testament. We have one Bible. For Christians, they have an Old Testament and a New Testament, so they call it 2 different names. I hope that's some basic information about the New Testament, Old Testament.